Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally happening. It's literally the first time in so long that I've got a crazy, massive opportunity for you guys. And I think if you pick up on the hints that I'll be explaining in this video, you can easily make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or potentially millions of dollars. And so please guys, pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you in this video and make sure you press that like button as, well, I don't have to share this. I'm doing this to be nice. And of course, I'll also be covering our daily crypto news. So first of all, the opportunity that I speak of is in the form of some crazy altcoins that we're not actually going to buy. Today, we're not talking about buying anything. We're talking about shorting the living crap out of them because these things are garbage. Now, I've already explained it a little bit in my friend Tech, and I'll most likely be elaborating upon this even further throughout the next couple of days, potentially in some community-only type of videos. I'm not so sure where I'm going to post it, where only my inner circle can watch it, because this is a lot of alpha, all right? This can literally be game-changing if you play the game right. Anyway, so I've shared it over on Twitter a little bit. I'm shorting so many shitcoins on Bybit all day. It's actually pretty funny if you notice the pattern. Hi-Fi, TRB, BLZ, Front, all these different altcoins. It's been actually extremely funny that they all follow the exact same pattern, which is a massive sudden shot upwards on Bybit and potentially some other exchanges, and then just trickling down with a pretty interesting crash. Now, I've actually posted, I think, 2 of them over on Bybit, both of them yesterday. Here's another one actually where I'm shorting Front. Opened when I tweeted, so when I tweeted this out that I'm shorting these coins, I was also shorting Front, and that within like a couple of minutes was in 50% profit. And just to put it into perspective, all coins follow a similar path where they've just gone up a sudden crazy amount over the last month or so, and we're just looking for that peak. We're specifically basically looking at one VC/market maker that's basically messing up these coins, and the strategy as to how they're manipulating, I think I've got down, but I'll explain in another video at some point. Here goes another coin just to give you the example. All these coins are basically done by the same people. Here's Hi-Fi. As you can see, massive pump throughout, I guess, a month or so, and then a massive dump quickly afterwards. TRB has not fully faltered just quite yet, but you can also see a massive pump throughout the last month or so, and then a pretty significant dump. I still think there's more downside for this coin, but you understand the idea. And then Front is the main one that I was shorting yesterday, and you can see how this one is coming along. From the moment that it got listed, it's up 100% or so, and right now it's coming back down significantly hard. And this is the one I was telling you guys about yesterday over on my Twitter to go and short. Again, 21 hours ago, and you can see how this has performed throughout the day. So if you listened to me, you would have been in massive profit already, because a move from 42 cents to 35 is pretty significant. You can see we actually opened it at about 37 cents, as that was the price somewhere yesterday. That is actually significant, or a little bit lower than it is right now. So most likely it was somewhere within this move. I will tell you, be a little bit careful with too much leverage, as you need some leeway, as the price is still very volatile. But we're looking for multiple entries, multiple exits, as there are multiple trading opportunities, not just one, as obviously it's so volatile that you might get stopped out once or twice. But I just basically keep trying to time that top. Again, if you also want to trade, I'm not so sure where these coins are on, I would recommend to check out Bybit. A link is down below for that, because guys, I'm telling you, this is one of the opportunities you only get like a couple times a year, and so I'm very happy that we're spotting this one pretty early. I've actually opened a trade on every single one of these, and I'm not that lucky to find it so early. So whenever I find new opportunities that follow all the same categories, I'll share it with you. These are the coins we're looking at for right now. There are 2 other coins we're looking into, but you need a lot of criteria basically to be checked off before you can say, okay, most likely the same thing is going to happen, because you don't want to have too many missers, right? Then again, because of our risk reward ratio here, there's actually not that much risk and a lot of reward, as these coins have pumped so significantly anyway that there's very good chance you're at least going to be in some sort of profit with a due correction. But again, make sure you press that like button and check the link down below to Bybit, because this is pretty cool. Now that we're talking about things that are finally happening, there's another opportunity for Bitcoin, by the way. Right now we're seeing a broadening wedge, a descending broadening wedge to be specific. Also, interestingly enough, at a double bottom, Bitcoin bottomed out here before about $25,000 and a bit, and right now we're seeing a similar sort of bottom. It's going to be very interesting to see if we're going to see a very massive breakout above this strong resistance, which basically was the downward sloping trend line from before that now turned into some resistance. The moment that we do break, I do believe it's going to be pretty significant, and so we're all gladly watching for it. Then again, there is some pretty big potential that we're just going to actually be bouncing towards the downside. Again, on the downside, the main target that we're watching for is $25,300. On the upside, of course, we're looking for about 27,000. The moment that we break that, we're pretty juiced up for a significant journey. Anyway, having said that, let's take a look at what a lawyer in the XRP community just said. I think it was interesting. Mr. Huber asked over on Twitter, where are we supposed to get an answer from Torres, right? A judge in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit by now. And the XRP community lawyer 𝗕𝗏𝗪𝗏 responded by saying, well, similar past decisions suggest that mid to late October is the most likely range for the next piece of the puzzle. If you're wondering what we're waiting for, Ripple and the SEC have been fighting as to whether or not the SEC can appeal prematurely, an interlocutory appeal or whatever it's called. Interlocutory, it's blah, blah, blah. Not a native English speaker, okay? Get over it. And the fight has basically ended from the SEC Ripple side. It's now up to the judge to decide whether or not they want the SEC to be able to file for their appeal prematurely, which the interlocutory part basically means that they're able to file this before the entire case is over. And the SEC also makes arguments saying, hey, we need to stop everything with the lawsuit right now because, well, if we continue on with the lawsuit the way it's supposed to go, a lot of things are going to have to be done twice. It's going to eventually take much longer, and there are a lot of pending questions that need to be answered right now. That all depends on this case, and all depends on whatever comes out of the appeal, etc., etc., etc. Things like the Coinbase case or whatever, it all depends on whatever comes out of the Ripple case. And talking about Coinbase, there was an interesting little piece. Coinbase considered purchasing FTX Europe for derivatives expansion, but a little bit later I saw an article that it was actually not going through, so Coinbase decided to quit out. But it was some interesting speculation. I just wanted to quickly share it, though, that this was going around the space, even though it had already been shut down. We're also just talking about regulations and about, I guess, other cases from the SEC. They also have got a case against Binance, as you guys all know. But there was a ton of news with regards to how Binance is going to be handling stablecoins. And there's now been so much speculation, so much fear. But trust me when I say that I am not too worried about Binance just quite yet, as I personally think it's pretty hard as one of these major exchanges to be at a loss. I mean, technically speaking, right, they made so much money throughout the last couple of years that if they play their cards right, they should not be able to go bankrupt for a very long time. The reason FTX did so bad is because they're very chaotic and, well, in my opinion, very money hungry. They invested so significant sums of money that in a bad market, well, their investments turned to kind of garbage and there was a lot of vesting. I do believe, though, that if CZ let them go, let them ride for a little bit longer, and I've got all the juice on exactly how FTX collapsed. By now, I've met up with so many freaking geniuses that explain to me exactly which details led to which part, which led to FTX collapsing. But from that perspective, I also understand now, if they had let them cook for just a little bit more, most likely everything would have been fine because the market would have turned up a little bit more, would have made so much money, and 𝗵𝗵𝗏 would most likely right now be one of the top guys, and nobody would be in trouble. Everybody could have been paid back, yada, yada, yada. Because it was inherently not a Ponzi scheme, it was just a very badly managed, risky company. With Binance, on the other hand, though, even though some things are shady, sure, I don't believe they don't have the money to back things up. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. On the opposite end, though, you never really know. So I'd say tread carefully with all these exchanges. The one I trust the most personally is Bybit. Second, I'd say is Binance. Third, might be Kraken or something like that, even though I don't even use them. But I'm just talking about my money being safe. But at the end of the day, anything can happen to any company, right? Even your bank can all of a sudden decide to shut down, as we see with Silicon Valley and all those banks. Anyway, something else that's been quite interesting here, I already posted that the FTX plan has been abandoned. Two things. First of all, apparently whales have been moving, and not the place whales. I'm talking about these things right here, right? These creatures. Whales move over $660 million in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. Here's where the crypto is headed. Now, I've already told you this before. If you're seeing massive amounts of money go from an unknown wallet to an exchange, most of the time that signals they're trying to sell. If you're seeing massive amounts of money from an exchange to an unknown wallet, usually that was like an OTC transfer buy. So they, for example, used an OTC desk on top of Bitfinex, or that Bitfinex hosts the money for, and they were buying massive amounts. How do I know that? Well, because there are many people around that like to buy $50 million, $100 million, not off the market because they might not have the expertise. Again, if you're actually buying hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars off the market, and you don't want to get too much of a crazy price, sometimes you even want discounts, which is very hard, but okay. You need to do some very interesting, basically interval orders where you put your trade over, you can even do it with 𝗕𝗪𝗀 or something like that, but you basically try to match the price over a little bit of a longer, prolonged period of time so that there's multiple executions of smaller amounts of money so you don't get a crazy price in the midst, or you try to look for the most liquid exchange, you just limit order every time. But if you've ever traded with a lot of money, you might know that trading $200,000, not that hard. Trading $50 million, yeah, a little bit harder to get a solid price on. Specifically, also, if you want to kind of get rid of some of the fees, sometimes OTC could just help. But it could also be the exchange themselves moving money around. You don't know that from the transfer just like this, but that's usually what we deduce, all right? If it's going from unknown wallet to exchange, it could also be an OTC deal. We don't know, but we're assuming that's selling pressure. If it's going from an exchange to an unknown wallet, we usually assume that that's a buyer who's now holding his coins more stationary. Anyway, and here over on my Twitter, you can see what I posted just now. One of the main performing coins today was 𝗵𝗵𝗃. All right, all of a sudden things are doing nicely, and it's kind of funny that I make a video earlier today talking about how meme coins might be alive again, and then within 24 hours, 𝗵𝗵𝗃 is the best performer in the top 100. That's pretty funny to me. Now, on that similar note, there's some theories going around that 𝗵𝗵𝗃 is going to have some similar sort of rise as Shiba Inu and them had. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but I am saying watch out for it, as maybe potentially finally meme coins are back again. The crazy market is back. People's faith is back. I think with so much fear with regarding regulations, the hype days are not here just quite yet, but we've got some juicy trading opportunities, so make sure you stay tuned for those. Again, for the most part though, I am looking at these coins which I just mentioned to go short, and if there's new coins, I will share it. I've got a link down below for Bybit if you also want to trade these. If you can't trade them over on Bybit, you might want to check out the link down below for BitGet. If you can't trade it there, you're most likely from the US or something, and you might not be able to trade it anywhere. But yeah, even right now on BitGet as well, I believe every person that signs up gets $100 for free if you deposit $100. I'm not sure exactly where that reward is, but somebody just texted me that I believe if you put $100 in, you get $100 for absolutely free at the time being, because a lot of exchanges are clamping down on certain areas basically, and so they want to capture users this way. Honestly, it's a smart move from them. But me, and this is another tip that not a lot of people understand. Me, I always go to exchanges that give you a bonus. If you understand, a lot of these exchanges have similar fee structures, and I personally get a better fee structure on Bybit, so that's why I'm there. If you're a higher trader, higher frequency trader, or you trade with more money, you can get better tiers over on Bybit than others, which is why I use them for the most part, and because they're nice people. You know, I've seen them a lot. But a lot of people misunderstand the importance of these bonuses. The fee, okay, can be significant if you're trading a lot. If you're not trading that much though, you just want to get some free money to make a trade with. You know, that $30,000 bonus on Bybit, so you might sound like, oh, but you need to deposit $200,000. So a lot of people have got that because it's $30,000 you get for free still, right? You understand, it is real money. Even though, oh, there's a bigger threshold, it is real money though. So it's certainly a big thing for people. And here as well, this $100, it's real money. It's free money, basically. And so whenever there's different deals, I sometimes go for them on different exchanges, which is why I've got an account in a lot of places. Just a little bit of insider information for you guys. You might think, oh, but I'm too lazy for that. Well, it's free money and it's a lot of it. And you'd be surprised how many extremely wealthy people make their choice based on these massive bonuses. It's just a little insider information I got for you. Even people that trade billions of dollars a month, all right, because they are there. You might not know them. You might think, Dusty, what are you talking about? There are so ridiculously many people that manage billions of dollars every month. They don't have to have billions. They only have to have maybe a couple million because they trade frequently. These are programmers, for example, and sometimes they're bigger companies, but the idea is there. And even they care a lot about these bonuses because it's a free transfer bonus, basically. Let's say somebody says, hey, if you sign with their companies, you get lower fees. So, okay, that's positive, but you also get $30,000. A lot of the people will be like, okay. Anyway, do with that information as you please. That's about it. Enjoy the update and enjoy trading.